on Ramblers Unleashed. Where is Baron getting his joy from while Liv is out? What are Dizzy's thoughts on? Wait a second, that's not Dizzy, that's the Rambler Complaint Department. Why is Max acting as host? All of this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
Hey y'all, Baron here. I just want to give you guys a fair warning. There's going to be a lot of foul language on this show tonight. Please bear with us. And if you have the children nearby, time to give them some snacks because it's on. Viewer discretion is advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast for news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and sometimes more. With Dizzy taking some time off, I'll be trying out hosting duties to see how this goes. But let's introduce the Ramblers. Up first, the man who is higher than a jet airliner and whose signature catchphrase is and always will be
420.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Baron. Baron, how you doing tonight?
Dude, it's great. We got some different shit happening. I missed last week. It's been 2 to 3 weeks now since I've been on the show, so it's felt like forever. We got a shit ton to talk about, and the dynamics of the show has changed completely. As you know, Max's best friend, he's MIA right now. So if I had to battle Stylez and Max Magius week to week, then so be it.
Hey, I would not get used to this. Dizzy is coming back, and he will go back to being the host. This is a temporary situation, and we're all just dealing with it because we love Dizzy, and we need him to have his time. All right. Up next, the man who destroys kayfabe. The man who does video game streams and sometimes forgets to unmute his mic. He is the Rambler Complaint Department, CM Stylez.
Hey, what's going on? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this with you guys. I mean, we were here together last week, and now this time I get to talk wrestling and more wrestling. Stuff I don't really get to watch as much anymore, but you know what? Getting back into the mix, and I can't wait to talk about tonight's subjects.
Hey, we got
I gotta say, bro, it's good to fucking see you, Stylez.
It's good to see you too, man.
We have had a long fucking road, many moons of shooting the shit of wrestling and whatever else we wanted to talk about because, you know, we go off the fucking hinge like none other. But it's a pleasure to see you on the show. I always miss you. No matter what Max tells you, don't believe anything he says.
I try not to.
I mean, you should hear what he says when you're not here.
Oh, fine, whatever. You know, I'm used to that.
Whatever.
I have enough green in my system that nothing bothers me whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a long history with Stylez. We've known this man for years. We've almost known him as long as J-Bone's been alive. Miss you, brother. Come visit sometime. Guys, we got 2 more intros we got to take care of, and then we're going to get into all this. Up next, the other members of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd be just a bunch of idiots talking to each other on a video call. Give it up for yourselves over there in the chat. Thank you for being here. And, but
nope. We're going to cut that one off right there. We're going to give the greatest intro of all time. Let me tell you, the master of mayhem, the creator of chaos, one of the greatest friends that is not my best friend. This man right over here, if it was not for him, we wouldn't be doing this right now as well. Dizzy, we miss you so much, and we can't wait for you to come back from your hiatus. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and give it up to one of the greatest podcasters of all time, one of the greatest wrestling promoters of all time, one of the greatest men of all time. We love you, brother. Let's give it up for Mr. Max Magius.
I appreciate your gratuitous use of the word greatest. I'm not sure I qualify for that, but I'll take it because, I am the GOAT and I am Chicago Max. Real quick, guys, I saw the comment about turning the lights on. The lights are on. I'm in a different location right now. I had to go stay somewhere else. So the lighting in here is a little weird. I was trying to adjust things, but I think this is the best it gets. I am your acting host. I am the neighborhood heel. I am the GOAT. So thank you for being here. We are coming to you on the heels of a Saturday night's main event that saw the announcement of the Last Time Is Now tournament, a new WWE Women's Champion, and a new World Heavyweight Champion. I want to shout out to Vacant for another epic title reign. That dude doesn't get the appreciation he deserves. Thank you, Vacant, for once again making it all worth it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about that real quick. Our main event for Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso versus CM Punk to take the title away from Vacant. Poor guy. As you see in our graphic, you see disappointed Cena sitting down, or Jey Uso sitting down here in the bottom while Punk raises the belt. What are your thoughts, guys? I know Baron's happy.
I mean, of course I'm happy. And it's not because Jay lost. Like, I mean, come on. You guys know how I feel about Uso. I mean, like, I love them as a tag team. I just don't think he has I don't know. I just don't see him as a champion. Doesn't make any sense to me. Especially when your other guy is CM Punk. I mean, he's probably having one of his better runs he's had in wrestling in a long time. Cena, Punk era, fantastic, great, right? We all love it. Some of the best wrestling ever. But like CM Punk is generally a happy human being right now. So it's fun to watch him in the ring. It's fun to see him do whatever. I'm not sure what the hell's going on with his wife, why she's not around, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's good to see him with that belt. And I hope that he can hang on to it all the way to Mania to let him headline. But like, Jey Uso, like, do you guys really see him as a champion?
I do. I liked his championship run. I thought he was over with the crowd. Stylez?
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. I think he's was a great WWE champion. Would I like to see him champion again in the future? Absolutely. Right now, it's just not that time when you have star power like CM Punk back on the roster. The possible return of Gunther down the road. You got who else do we got? I mean, Seth Rollins, he's on the shelf for God knows how long. He's getting closer and closer to his retirement. I mean, there's a fresh stack of roster members in the back that are hungry just as much as he is. Possible Roman Reigns in the future.
You also have the possible imminent revival of the guy that I believe in. I saw that look on your face, Baron. You know what I mean?
Is he?
The guy that if you say his name, he's supposed to appear, and he never does when I say his name on the show. I'm so disappointed.
Here's my thing. You guys know I'm pretty strong opinionated on most things. You got to have more than just a catchy phrase, right? And that's all that I see with Jey Uso outside of the yeet, which is so 2009. Like, come on. I mean, yeah, it does get the crowd pumped up, but it's not enough to carry that belt. He's not a Cody Rhodes. He's not a fucking CM Punk. He's not a Seth Rollins, right? And sadly, he never will be. He doesn't have the mic work like the three of them. His in-ring work is okay. I don't know. I just don't. It was a weird combination for those two to face off. I could have thought of many other opponents for CM Punk for that belt, but
if I'm being honest, I love Jey Uso, but the people in that battle royal, there were several other people I would have put into this match so we could see kind of a fresh matchup, because we've seen the Punk Uso LA Knight, the Punk Uso LA Knight Seth Rollins. It would have been nice for a change, but I do love Jey Uso. I do think he was a good champion, but I am pretty excited to be in the era of Punk again. On the heels of that, last night on Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso decided he would team up with CM Punk to take on the Braun Barnes. That was a decent match. I thought that was pretty good. I enjoyed watching the four men work together. Not that we haven't seen it before, but they did put on a hell of a match, guys.
Yeah, it was a great match. The Indian obviously was, we all knew something like that was going to happen, right? But
Yeah.
I think you kind of nailed it, though. We've seen the match. Aren't we getting some refurbished matches and stories here in WWE over the last 2 months now? I feel like we have seen a lot of the same concurrent two people for the main titles, and like, I don't know. I think over the last month, I'm starting to notice it more and more, and it's less interesting for me when they do that. Unless CM Punk's next rival is Braun Breaker, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? And it sounds to me like they're pairing them up to have a tag match. Maybe it's a Survivor Series or be part of they're not going to be a part of War Games, right? We've already got that determined.
Do we have that determined?
I thought we did. I thought it was going to be, I don't know if official, but it looks like they're leaning towards Bloodline and White Six, right?
I'm not sure how they're really going to do War Games right now. I mean,
well, I'll
with
tell
the
you,
line of injuries that have been happening, it's been kind of like screwing up everything.
The poster for Survivor Series War Games, which airs Saturday, November 29th at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, has Braun Breaker front and center. Over his right shoulder is Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman is over his left shoulder. But as of now, there is nothing announced for this other than when it's going to be. They focused too much on other stuff last night to kick off the stories for Survivor Series. But with the Vision being front and center on the poster, I could see them being involved in the War Games match.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible in the WWE. So,
and if you think about it, Vision has 3 members now for that, which I bring that up because I know Stylez is chomping at the bit to talk about the rest of that. We'll come right back to you, Stylez, I promise. So they have 3 members towards War Games already. If you think about it, and if you put Punk and Uso in on the other side, that leaves us needing 1 Vision member and 2 members for Punk and Jay. Stylez, what are your thoughts on Logan Paul being in a War Games match this year?
I mean, it's a head over heels thing right now. I mean, a lot of people do not like Logan Paul. I think he's a phenomenal talent on the main roster. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm becoming a Logan Paul fan being on in the WWE banner. I could give 2 shits what he does in the YouTube world, but when it comes to being in the WWE, he does bring in an audience. He can cut a promo. He does know how to work a decent match. After everything I saw yesterday, from that near half-hour promo, that near ending, they teased a whole lot. Were we going to see a face Logan Paul last night, all the way up until what happened in the last 30 seconds of that, the post-main event fallout? And honestly, I think Logan Paul would be a great addition. I mean, but the way they did it leaves things in question and it leaves things in confusion. Is he a part of the Vision? We have another big name, but I don't think that's going to happen yet. And if it does happen, I will be highly surprised because that would go great with the whole War Games theory of what's going to happen next. I mean, and if you guys, and if you know who I'm talking about, I can only say he's a beast incarnate.
That name has been speculated as being part of the Vision. I don't know how I feel about that. I have my opinions about Brock Lesnar, but you said the word theory. That's another name that's been speculated to possibly join the Vision when he returns from injury, which he's been gone for a while. I'm figuring he's got to be getting close to ready to come back.
It'd be great if he does. I mean, they were the whole thing with him and Grayson Waller. He was supposed to turn face. If they keep him, if they do go with that and they have him feuding with Grayson, that'd be great. It'd be great for a face career push. But if you come back and you're a heel, then it works even better for him because he's got the ego anyway. He's got the attitude of a heel. His face days from his early NXT, early Raw days are pretty much done and over with. now it's his time. The time is now.
Yeah, and I think he needs another person to boost him up a little bit. That's why I think Paul Heyman would be a fantastic choice to be around, right? Let mentor be around. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be anywhere around that. I think he's too big of a marquee name to have to. I see him feuding maybe with Braun Breaker. Still having that, Paul Heyman beef maybe going on. I don't think Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul will be part of that War Games match and be part of division during that match, but I don't see him like staying with him long term because he's big. I mean, the guy's got it himself. He doesn't need, Paul Heyman to speak for him, anything along those lines. If anything, he could take Seth Rollins' place and be the face of that group, in my personal opinion.
For me, that would work better than Brock Lesnar.
100%. Yeah, anybody but Brock. Come on. Get that out of here.
I have been very vocal on the show about my feelings about Logan Paul. I do not like the guy, but I cannot deny his talent in the ring. I cannot deny my respect that's grown for his ability in the ring. And his social media post about his match with John Cena, how do you not have built at least a little bit of respect for this guy? You know what I mean? So I do want to talk about the other title match, the other big deal title match from Saturday night's main event before we move on. Jade Cargill takes the women's championship away from Tiffany Stratton. Did you guys see that coming? Because I think I predicted it on my predictions, but we didn't do that on the show.
Well, I'll speak on this one. I totally forgot the Saturday night's main event was this weekend, but I did catch the near end of the show. But if I recall, I did read a report that Tiffy Time was dealing with some injuries, so to take that title off of her was probably the best of interest. It being from Jade is insane. I mean, the whole get up with her right now, she kind of looks like the WWE's version of X-Men Storm, and that gash above her, her left eye, makes her even more badass and intimidating. So I think it's Jade's time, and as she says, it's no longer Taffy time if you watch SmackDown. So Taffy time is over, and it's now Jade's turn to reign supreme on the SmackDown brand.
Yeah, Tiffy time is boring. I was over it about 3-4 months ago, so I think anybody could have possibly had that title change, and I would have been okay with it. It was very unexpected, so there has to be something going on in the backstage area. I don't know, but I'm pretty positive. Didn't she and what's his name break up?
Yeah, months ago.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's something backstage going on with that, or she has an injury, or whatever the case may be. But it's a good time to maybe step back a little bit, reinvent what you're doing, because I feel like it was a very stale run the last few months. So it is very weird Jade won, but here we are.
I think that could set up for a Jade Bianca feud, but let's get into our next story, and I want because we need to talk about IRS. From TMZ.com, Mike Rotunda not in hospice despite earlier reports. Daughter clarifies Hall of Famer's health status. WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda is not in hospice, as his brother-in-law previously stated, but rather a rehabilitation center as he recovers from a massive heart attack, his family revealed on Wednesday. Mika Rotunda released a statement on her Facebook clarifying her Uncle Barry misspoke when he recently disclosed the information. Mika stated Mike's recent medical scare on September 20th forced him into a coma for a week and a month-long hospital stay. By the grace of God, he is now transitioned to a rehabilitation center where our family remains present, hopeful, and focused on his recovery. While there is a long road to recovery, Mika said the family's faith is strong and will continue to rely on it as he looks to improve. We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love, prayers, and support from the wrestling world and our local communities, Mika continued. At this time, we kindly ask for privacy as we continue walking this journey together, but we warmly welcome continued prayers, good energy, and healing thoughts for his recovery. Barry Windham, Rotunda's brother-in-law, initially shared the incorrect info while speaking about Bray Wyatt's death with journalist Bill Apter, but Mika made it clear it was an honest mistake. I like I was telling Stylez before the show, he said he misspoke. She said it was an honest mistake. I'm going to give Barry the benefit of the doubt because I just don't see him intentionally misinforming people. Baron?
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't know enough about the situation. This is the first I'm actually hearing about this. I mean, I know we talked about it in the chat just a little bit, but yeah.
Stylez?
So yeah, I mean, this was way out of left field. Honestly, I had no idea that Mike Rotunda was even having any health issues at all. I mean, he looked pretty fairly healthy the last time we saw him on WWE TV, which was like a year and a half ago. I mean, I know times have changed, but I mean, the flow of information these days, and we don't know exactly what's going on. Thank God for Mika that confirmed that everything's all right. There's no need for hospice care or anything like that. So it helps us in the end know that he's going to be okay. But on top of that, we still have to keep a mindset that if anything does come up, we know that this story popped up first, and then anything that travels afterwards, we just keep an eye on updates and wish him the very best.
Yeah, our thoughts are with the Rotunda family at this time, but not only with the Rotunda family, because our next story is actually sadder, if you can believe it. Charles Robinson's nephew killed in tragic bike accident. This story comes from Ringside News. WWE referee Charles Robinson is mourning an unimaginable loss after revealing that his nephew Shane was tragically killed in a bike accident earlier this week. Robinson took to Instagram to share the heartbreaking news, posting a photo of Shane from around 2012 and paying tribute to his nephew's unforgettable personality and the impact he had on those around him. Found this super cute picture of my nephew Shane from 2012 or so. He was such a wonderful soul, and he affected so many people. I think everyone in Newberry, South Carolina knew him. Always a straight shooter, and he didn't beat around the bush. He once asked a guy with an eye patch if he was a pirate with no hesitation. Shane was tragically killed Tuesday night while riding his bike. Love him so much. Hashtag RIP. Hashtag nephew. Shane was remembered by Robinson as someone full of life, humor, and honesty. His story about jokingly asking a man with an eye patch if he was a pirate perfectly reflected his candid nature and warm spirit. Robinson's heartfelt message made it clear that Shane left behind a deep void in the lives of everyone who knew him. Charles Robinson, a beloved veteran WWE official known for his decades of service and his nickname of Little Nate, in professional wrestling, now faces one of the toughest moments of his life away from the ring. The tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of how fragile life can be and how quickly everything can change. Our thoughts and deepest condolences go out to Charles Robinson and his family during this heartbreaking time. I've lost family, but I don't think I've ever lost a younger family member like that.
Yeah, that's tragic. To a bike accident.
I just can't imagine that. That's so sad.
I'll be honest, it breaks my heart. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of family it is, but someone that young, losing their life to a bike accident, it just, you think of, it could have been the son, daughter, whatever, it just, things like that shouldn't be happening. And of course, we live in a world where crazy drivers are out there and tragedies like this happen quite often now.
Baron, you want to add anything about Charles Robinson and his nephew?
No, sending positive vibes and obviously condolences out there. It's a touchy subject to get on per se, right? I mean, the world's dangerous. You got to live, enjoy your time on Earth because you never know, right? Like, it's
life's too short.
Very dangerous, way too short. And especially out there on the roads, man. We don't. I can only speak for my state right now, but fucking drivers are scary out there, man.
It happened to me a couple of nights ago. I went to, since I live here in Pennsylvania, I'm not very far from Hershey, and Hershey is known for Hershey Park and Chocolate World. I went to go get a season pass, and I got some chocolate on the way home. And coming home, I get cut off by truck not using the signal. And we're talking about like a Dodge Ram 1500. And this thing just cuts me off. No problem at all. And I'm like, oh, that could have been it for me, or it could have just been it for my car. Because we live in such a careless society that we have to worry about our awareness versus them not using theirs. And like you said, we send our condolences to little Nate. And, we wish things never happen like this. So
yeah, it's very, very sad.
Yeah. By the way, we like to ramble here, so every once in a while we go off on a tangent. Stylez, I just want to point out that just because Hershey, Pennsylvania is one of the most famous chocolate producers in the U.S., it is no longer the most important chocolate producing part of the U.S. That would be Uranus, Missouri, and their world famous Uranus Fudge Factory.
Oh, it is not the most famous. You just wanted to say Uranus, and you know what? Fun fact, I've been to Uranus.
You have not. You did not take me out to dinner first. I'm not letting you anywhere near it.
I had to say it that way.
You guys are too much.
I've been to Uranus. But I truly have been to Uranus. The place, guys. Okay, real quick on that subject, I just have to mention it. Literally, it is one building, okay? It's one building. You ever seen, you ever traveled and you see, those Ozark, I don't know. I'm speaking of Missouri. You guys probably don't know, but
I know where the Ozarks
they'll have,
are.
Tourists, diesel stops for truck drivers, right? And they'll have an Ozark antique store. So this is all this is. It's like a antique store. It has a beautiful neon sign. It's got a cool designs around it, and inside it's just chocolate. The chocolate's really good, but about 2 towns before Uranus has better chocolate. I'm just throwing it out there. I just discovered this past summer. That's the only reason I had this information, because I was like, we're going to Uranus, girl. I'm talking to my girl, obviously. And
she's like, we're in public. Don't discuss that right now.
Oh, we got a picture with Uranus and everything. So, yeah.
All right, guys.
Yes, Uranus count. That's what we need.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. We all know John Cena is retiring, and they have now announced the Last Time Is Now tournament to determine who his final opponent will be at December's Saturday night main event. John Cena reveals his motivation behind the Last Time Is Now tournament. John Cena, this comes from Ringside News. John Cena's final WWE opponent is about to be decided, and he's making it personal. WWE dropped the big news on November 1st on the November 1st episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. A special tournament kicks off next Monday in Boston to determine who will face Cena in his final match. The tournament, called The Last Time Is Now, is pulling talent from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and even possibly beyond WWE. Cena took to Twitter to speak directly to his fans, reflecting on his 20-year run in the company and explaining why this tournament means something deeper to him. For over 2 decades, I have tried to make the most of every opportunity I've been presented. On December 13th, I'd like to repay the favor. The Last Time Is Now tournament begins next Monday in Boston. The tournament will lead to a showdown on December 13th, 2025, at Saturday Night's Main Event in Washington, D.C., inside the Capital One Arena. Whoever survives the bracket will stand across the ring from Cena in what's expected to be his final WWE match. There's already backstage chatter that WWE might give Cena one last championship run before calling it quits, but nothing's locked in. What is certain, though, is that this tournament has officially started the countdown on a Hall of Fame career. Fans are now left to speculate who will step up, who will shock the world, and who will close the curtain on Cena's legendary run. If you had the book, who would you pick to face Cena in his final match, and why? I don't know how I feel about the tournament in general, but I'll be honest, my biggest problem right now is the first 4 names that have been announced. I just don't feel like that was the right direction to go, especially when you're teasing outside involvement. You know what I mean, Baron?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like, these are obviously filler spots, right? We're not going to get the big reveal of who the outside person could possibly be. We're not going to get that right now. Like, that person, whoever that person is clearly going to be the one facing him. I've been pretty vocal about this run, right? I thought this beginning of this retirement run was very well thought out with him turning heel. But that fucking overnight switch they did with the Brock Lesnar thing really ruined a lot of this run for me. And it sucks because John Cena deserves so much better. And I think a lot of fans will agree with me on that part. But, you know, when it comes to this tournament, I think it's a great idea. If I think what's going to happen is him elevating a young star, I think that's going to be great. I think kind of like, Ether kind of said in the chat, I think Gunther is the prime candidate, and I think that's someone he should be facing. Like Gunther, go ahead, beat the hell out of Cena in Cena's career in a sense, right? And just continue to be that master heel because Gunther is the guy, man. Like he really is. So I think that's a great direction. I think fans are so caught up on this shock factor of like, oh my gosh, it could be someone not in the company, like WWE has burned us so many times throughout the year that I tend to not believe anything they say. And I'm starting to not believe anything Triple H says anymore. So I think this is a great tournament to have. It's just, I agree with what you're saying here, Max. So like the first four people kind of introduced. It's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, Sheamus, cool, love the guy, but would he face Cena? No. Damian Priest, love the guy, but like, what's the benefit of facing him? So yeah, I think they could have picked some better stars for that. I think some better names will be announced, obviously, but if it was my pick, who's going to be John Cena's opponent, I would say Gunther is a safe bet right now. Who I would like to see is just like, I would love to see Edge. I think Edge and John Cena had one of the best feuds of all time. So, there's that.
Yeah, and I mean, my whole part of my problem with the first four announced, I don't mind them being in the tournament. I don't have a problem with that at all. But it's not young talent, and we know he's got to pass the torch to young talent. It doesn't even matter if you put the winner in the first four, but you should at least put some of that younger talent in there in your first four announced names to kind of give us the idea, oh, maybe that's going to be it. Because right now, I don't know about you, Stylez, but I'm looking at this going, it's not going to be one of these four at all.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're an Imperium or if we have to say your name for you to appear. Sadly, I don't think we'll get Edge because if I recall, he took time away from AEW to work on a TV series, Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson, yep.
So we can count him out. I mean, there's not many.
It better be better than his fucking role in the Viking. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's one show I have not watched, and
oh my god, hold on real quick, not to go off the rails on the Ramblers.
Let's go off the rails.
But please do watch that show. The first 3 seasons was phenomenal, and it's great. Yeah, watch it.
Now that he said that, I'm gonna have to put that on my watch list.
Guys,
season 3.
We're going to continue rolling with the Last Time Is Now tournament. We're going to go from the desk of Max Magius next. WWE purposely teasing AEW stars in John Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament. WWE is pulling every trick in the book. This comes from Ringside News. WWE is pulling every trick in the book to make John Cena's retirement tour unforgettable. And that includes teasing names they almost certainly can't deliver. As part of the build-up to Cena's final match at Saturday night's main event on December 13th in Washington, D.C., WWE launched the Last Time Is Now tournament. The bracket will feature 16 superstars from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, but the company isn't stopping there. During Cena's video announcement at last weekend's show, he threw out a comment suggesting the participants might not all be WWE exclusive talent. That opened the floodgates of speculation, with fans immediately connecting the dots to AEW names like Adam Copeland and Chris Jericho, both of whom share deep-rooted rivalries with Cena. According to Wrestling Observer Radio, they confirmed that WWE is purposely teasing AEW stars to get people talking. According to Uncle Dave and Brian Alvarez, WWE has no real expectation of landing. By the way, I renamed him. The article didn't say Uncle Dave. WWE has no real expectation of landing those appearances, especially since Copeland and Jericho are still locked into AEW contracts. But the mere suggestion is enough to ignite nostalgia among longtime fans and create a social media storm in the process. This is the latest strategic move from WWE's creative team to drum up interest in Cena's Swan Song, which already includes a rumored Intercontinental title match against Dominic Mysterio, which, quick note on that, would make Cena a Grand Slam champion before he leaves, if he wins it, and the possibility of passing the torch to someone like Gunther. Behind the scenes, there's been chatter about the final match being a huge moment, one that balances Cena's legacy with WWE's current storytelling needs. Even if AEW stars don't show up, the tease is working. Cena's farewell tour is now at the center of fantasy booking speculation, and that's exactly the kind of momentum WWE wants going into its year-end programming. What do you think WWE's end game is with these AEW teases? Who should really face Cena's final match? Listen, I think it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. Look, is it generating buzz? Yes. Are we going to get Jericho or Edge as his final opponent? There is no chance. I'm sorry for anybody out there that wants to see that. I'm telling you right now, it ain't happening. They're both still under contract to AEW, and they are not getting released anytime soon. There's no way they're going to be in this tournament. However, some of the speculated names that we have heard mentioned are possible. We've even talked about some of them right here on the show. Gunther could be the final match. You have Joe Hendry as a possibility. Damn it, he still didn't appear. And Dominic Mysterio was mentioned in that article, which is a possibility. There's also the possibility, and we're going to talk about his story in a new segment that we're doing tonight called Destroying Kayfabe. Brooks Jensen has tossed his name into the ring. And there is one other name, and he's probably going to be the only non-WWE person in this tournament. I'm sorry, but I just don't see them pulling anybody else from outside of WWE contracts to do this. And that man is Matt Cardona. I think he is a possibility that we have to consider of at least being in the tournament, not necessarily winning, but I think he's going to be our outside guy. But overall, I think the strategy is working. We're talking about it. They're talking about it over here in the chat. I've seen it all over social media all week. Well, I've seen it for the last 4 days. I've seen it all over social media, speculations about who they're going to bring over from AEW. It would only make sense for it to be Edge or Jericho, right? It's not happening, guys.
Is it confirmed they're still on contract?
As far as I know, Edge's contract runs till sometime next year at the earliest, and Jericho's contract has a few months left on it because he had some time off.
Yeah. I agree. Like Joe Hendry's another strong. Mir just said he's contract with TNA, so that's obviously a choice that they could make. And I think that would be an interesting one for sure. I just think the way everything's played out with John Cena in ring work wise, where he has shown a lot of, tip the hat to a lot of previous feuds with doing moves in the ring, finishers. He's on a nostalgia kick, right? So it's a very strong possibility someone he's once faced. Gunther is still my top choice. However, Dom would be fantastic. And what would even be better? If John Cena put over Dom. I think Dom is one of the top guys in WWE right now, and might even be in wrestling in general. People don't give him enough credit what he's doing. So that would be another great choice. I just feel like I'm going to get so burnt out with this tournament, with these boring matches, like you mentioned, with Sheamus and shit, that I'm not even going to care at the end, right? Like, I think we're dragging it out too much. And then we still have Survivor Series. Where's John Cena land on that?
They haven't made any official announcements yet, but honestly, right now, I don't think he's going to land on Survivor Series.
You don't think he's going to have a match? Could he be part of War Games?
Possibly. Maybe
either
Punk
that, or unless they do a
rival.
December pay-per-view.
Yeah, that might be a good choice. Like, help out Punk or whatever. But it's just, I just wish he continued what he was doing as the heel until he retired. WWE really fucking pivoted with this plan, and I'm so uninterested now. And it sucks because I should be so invested into the final run of John Cena. But whatever they did with Brock Lesnar just kind of aggravated me.
Well, yeah. I think there's one person we could thank for the whole heel turn just totally falling flat anyway. And we should all know who. There you have it. I mean, if he didn't leave the way he did.
Were we not supposed to invoke his name on the show right now? Because
it's a banned name. We're not allowed to use the name. Going further,
Dwayne.
New rule set. Do not use the name.
We won't. How about his real name?
What is his real name?
Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, I thought you said Brock, not The Rock.
No.
My
The
bad.
Okay. Because The Rock was what kicked off Cena's heel run.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we didn't see The Rock. And Cena kind of turned face.
I think the big thing too though with The Rock is he had health issues. Really serious health issues. So I just don't see anything involvement wise with him in wrestling right now. And quote me if I'm wrong, didn't he have heart issues?
He had some kind of sickness. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember what it was.
Whatever it was very serious. I mean, he lost a ton of weight.
He did, yeah. Lost a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah.
So, before I move on to
the movies,
before I move on to Baron's Buzzkill, I want to ask you guys this question. Living, dead, doesn't matter what company they work for. If you were to pick one person you would want to see Cena face in his final match, who would it be?
Baron.
I'd love to see Cena versus Baron too, but that's not what I was talking about.
You have to look back on where John Cena's like pivotal time was, right? And that to me is like where I found this booking to be really bad. I think John Cena versus CM Punk should have been whoever he had the biggest feud with in wrestling should have been his final match to like really just send him out, right? I think Punk could have been one. I think Gunther is going to be the best choice. I think he's going to help elevate Gunther to a higher level, allowing Gunther to beat the shit out of him. So I'm going to stick with Gunther because I think that is the best and safe bet for Cena.
I mean, we're talking any wrestler from any time period, and you want to stick with Gunther.
I mean, it makes the most sense.
DOA,
that's a good choice. And listen, I've talked before about how I would have loved to see as part of his final run him versus Bray Wyatt again. But if I had to choose one person, living, dead, contracted elsewhere, that I think would make for a great match with John Cena for his final match, I would have to go with the best Hart of all time, Owen Hart.
If I were to pick anybody to be his last match, it would have been the very first match of his WWE career on live TV. The Olympic gold medalist himself, Kurt Angle.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just spitballing names, I mean, the biggest name that would make the most sense and would throw everybody off, and it's very similar, but two different worlds, Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine that ever happening? I think Tanahashi is retired. Don't quote me, chat. Don't burn me alive here with that one. But I think that one would be one hell of a factor, or a Kenny Omega, or someone that, like John Cena retiring. I don't think people quite understand what happens. John Cena retires, right? Wrestling's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, Baba Thunder. That's an interesting choice. Avocado. Why does that name always make me hungry? Avocado.
I think that's a great final match.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Ether. It would be an honor, in my opinion, if they wanted me to do that final match. I'm sorry, but everybody wants to face The Undertaker, not me. I want to face someone like Cena or Henry or something like that. I think I'd have a lot of fun in a match with them. So, all right, let's move on to Baron's Buzzkill. So we've been talking a lot about the names that we know about, the names that people have speculated about. I got two stories here I want to share with you. One of them I found on Newsweek, and the other one I found on eWrestling News. But these are based off of social media posts, so don't doubt the article. First off, surprising name wants into John Cena's final opponent tournament. Cena announced the Last Time Is Now tournament at last night's WWE Saturday Night's Main Event to determine the final opponent of his illustrious career. The announcement has already sparked conversation, with WWE star Bayley publicly asking if the tournament is open to female superstars. Earlier today, John Cena posted about the tournament on social media, reflecting on his career and his desire to give back. For over 2 decades, I have tried to make the most of every opportunity I've been presented. On December 13th, I'd like to repay the favor. Cena wrote he's officially announced the start of the tournament, adding the Last Time Is Now tournament begins next Monday in Boston. This post prompted a direct question from Bayley. The former WWE Women's Champion responded to John Cena's announcement by writing, "Can women be in the tournament?" WWE typically does not book intergender matches, making it highly unlikely that women superstars will be included in this tournament. The company has maintained a separation between its men's and women's division for singles competition. Reports indicate the tournament is structured as a 16-man bracket. It will feature 16 male superstars. This article says Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, but that's not what the announcement was. My other article that I have that as part of Baron's Buzzkill is Chelsea Green jokes about facing John Cena in final match. John Cena will wrestle for the last time next month, and now Chelsea Green has seemingly thrown her name in as a potential opponent. On Twitter, Green shared that facing Cena, dubbed Johnny Boy, was part of her plans as part of her presidential agenda. Adding this to my presidential agenda, Chelsea versus Johnny Boy. In July 2024, Cena confirmed that he will retire in 2025, ending a career on WWE's main roster that began in June 2002. At WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, it was shared that the tournament will determine John's final opponent at the December Saturday Night's Main Event. The December show will also mark 1 year since Green became the first ever WWE Women's United States Champion. Baron, my questions, and there's 2 of them for you on this subject. How likely do you think WWE is to allow it, and how do you feel about them expressing interest in it?
There's no chance in hell of that happening. First and foremost, like, other promotions do intergender matches. Why has WWE stayed away from it for so long? When was the last time we've had an intergender match? I know we've had it on WWE.
The last I remember is China.
An RKO to Nia Jax.
No RKOs, not allowed. Full match. Bell has to be ring, and the match has to happen to count it as a full intergender match.
It's been a very, very long time.
China?
That's the last one I remember.
That's literally the only one I can remember.
That was what, China versus Jericho.
WWE does not regularly allow intergender matches, primarily due to its PG rating, concerns about depicting male-on-female violence, and potential sponsor backlash.
I don't know if they would ever have backlash. I think there's women on that roster that could actually beat the living fuck out of some of these male superstars with
Like
these.
Natty.
Wait a minute, I thought we had those mixed match challenges years back, like Braun Strowman with Alexa Bliss, and
But
did
they
that
weren't
weird-
allowed to. So if Alexa tagged
that's
in
right.
Braun,
Well, it's got to be intergender, straight like
That's right.
male versus female kind of match.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not against that type of shit. I think there's some entertainment value that can come into the factor, and I really think there's actually strong competition that could be had. Dom versus any woman on the roster is believable to me, right?
I mentioned
Dom
Natty.
versus Liv. Like, could you imagine a match like that? You know, obviously that will never happen because WWE is just WWE. You know, it's just unfortunate. I hate to be the bad guy here, but you know, give me some Bailey. Give me some Bailey versus John Cena. Fuck it. You already run his fucking retirement tour, so might as well.
Yeah, I think that either one of them could be a fun final opponent for him. I just, like you said, I don't see WWE allowing it, right, Stylez?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not right now. I mean, even with TKO being in charge, I still think they would push that boundary of where, well, we can't do this. They're literally following Vince's legacy, and we, did it a publicity, and regardless if it's a public company or even private. I mean, we're living in these times where some companies will do an intergender match, but WWE will say, well, we'll do everything to avoid it. Between a man beating on a woman or a woman beating on a man, it's weird how it's weird how it's being brought up now, because other companies will still do such and such today. And I mean, test the waters with it and see where it goes. But I mean, it doesn't have to be all the time. I mean, most of the time you'll see intergender matches happen more in the indies than you will on live TV, and it's not uncommon.
Matt Cardona and Shotzi just faced off recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chelsea Green literally has had the only intergender matches that I can remember on the independent circuit. So maybe she would be a great candidate.
Actually,
if you're a fan of intergender stuff, I'm sure Max knows who I'm talking about when I say Stan the Man Stylez. That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say one other thing though. Chelsea Green is currently the intergender champion for AAA along with Ethan Page. And I would like to point out that Ether makes a really good point. That would be a phenomenal match.
Yeah. Two powerhouses right there. Let me tell you. Rhea Ripley,
Yeah.
Her and that Riptide, I mean, she's got some pure strength when it comes to, finishing off her opponents.
Oh, yeah.
To see her do that to John Cena, I would be amazed. Now, the thing is, we all know that John's body is already quickly breaking down. There's no more slowly anymore. His age is starting to show. He's getting close to his 50s, if I recall, if not in his early 50s. Can't remember exactly.
He's 48, 49, so he's close to 50.
So he's getting close to his 50s now. And, I mean, even a bump like that would just, for it to be his final bump, I would pay to see that.
I think it's going to be Nikki Bella, his final match.
Cena is about 3 months older than me.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys seen any videos of him walking lately, like out and about?
He's got a big old slump going on.
He's got a massive slump going on. I don't know if that's his back issues or.
Honestly, if you want my opinion, I think he needs to start working on a chiropractor as soon as he's done with his career. The best one you can do, Dr. Bo Hightower. He does the most insane. Hopefully, it's nothing more than just a slump in his back and it can be fixed. Because usually in a situation like that right there, that's early stages of scoliosis, if you're familiar with that, with the curve in the spine. And that's the last thing he wants, because that will not just end his wrestling career, that'll end his acting career as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if I were John, after all this is done and over with, what I'd be doing is starting things like x-rays and MRIs and even CT scans to see where he goes with his body and his career in life. Because, I mean, we know he's not going to be a dad when he gets done here. He made that pretty clear years back that he doesn't want kids. And so he doesn't have to worry about bending over, lifting up things, or lifting up a kid and stressing his back out. But for him, for his health's sake, I mean, coming from a guy who's dealt with multiple back injuries and still does to this very day, it's always best to get your body checked for things like that. The earlier you detect it, the quicker it can be, remedied.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have one more story about the Last Time Is Now tournament. Before we get there, I just want to say that up until now, looking over this entire year, and he's had some good matches this year. He had one major stinker. We won't talk about that one. But the two, Baron knows which one I'm talking about because he agrees with me on that. The two matches I think that are the best from this year so far have been Cena versus Logan Paul and Cena versus AJ Styles. I thought those two were the best worked matches so far this year.
AJ Styles and John Cena has been the best match.
Yeah, I did.
Of this retirement tour, bar none, not even a close second. I'm going to be biased and also say Cena versus Orton a Backlash because I was there, and there's not many reactions you're going to get other than like big reactions when Randy Orton comes back to St. Louis. It's a big ordeal. St. Louis wrestling fans absolutely adore him. We all know he's from St. Louis. So that atmosphere during that period of time made that match to me because we all know it's not just about in-ring work. It's about the atmosphere of wrestling. So I have to pick that as my second because I was there during that period of time. It was fantastic. Loved it.
And what about you, Styles? What's your favorite match from the Cena retirement tour?
I mean,
and if you say the Brock Lesnar match, you're fired already.
No,
I will actually leave it all.
I mean, it was insane to see Brock just decimate John Cena. That match right there was to make you feel bad for Cena because we knew that at his age, he's not going to be able to destroy Brock at his worst or his best. So no, that match is already wiped clean. Now seeing him versus Cody Rhodes, what was that, SummerSlam? Yeah, that was SummerSlam. I enjoyed that because that was where we see Cena go from heel right back to face. He, I guess we can thank Cody Rhodes for turning back to, the non-dark side and, bringing him back to light. But there was that. But like I said, the first one will always be AJ Styles and Cena. But if it wasn't just the match, it was Cena doing the heartfelt speech with what's her name, Samantha Irvin.
Alicia do the intro.
Yeah, that's right. Why did they do a mock version of Samantha? It drives me nuts though. Same look, same style.
That intro was pretty phenomenal though.
It was very phenomenal. I mean, every key point that he did about AJ, being the ace and the boss of the Bullet Club and the house of style, or the ace that runs, or no. What was it? The face that runs the place.
Yeah.
The house of AJ Styles. Just everything he said, it warmed my heart. And not only that, it actually shocked the shit out of AJ Styles because you could literally hear him in the background, say, "Holy shit!" He knows all about my career. That shows you, even in TNA.
I mean, of course, Cena knows all about his career, but I think part of Styles' reaction was for the fact that clearly Cena did not show that to somebody in the back and get it approved before he handed it to Alicia. And I think that's part of the reason AJ reacted the way he did. He was like, damn, we're going to get our asses chewed when we go back to the back tonight.
But yeah, I mean, Cena versus Styles is probably going to be the number one match of his, retirement tour here, or his Last Time Is Now tour. And, I will say, love the guy or hate the guy, 20 plus years of being in the ring, taking time away to go into the acting world, to come back and do what he does. I mean, the guy has given it all. I don't care how much you like and hate the guy. The guy dedicated his, his heart and soul to, each and every one of us. And his whole persona was for you to cheer and boo him. That's how John Cena was. Even when Vince was shoving him down our throat, you were going to have mixed reactions throughout the crowd on the internet. No matter where you watch it, you're always going to have that one hater, and you're going to have that one guy that loves you. And it's, thank you, John, for giving us all that. I can't wait to see how this tournament ends, and I can't wait to see who your final opponent is going to be. I swear to God, it better not be Dwayne Gill, because we're going to get Gilbert in the last match.
I hadn't thought about him as a possibility. He's not currently WWE talent, so he could be in the tournament.
But I don't think Dwayne Gill is going to wrestle ever again, because if I recall, he had a heart attack a while back, so we can already cancel him out. But it'd be funny to see him make a cameo.
Somebody over here suggested Hornswoggle, and he loves to play games, so I'd be okay with that myself. All right, guys.
Yeah. Real quick. I mean, you got to show that man some love, John Cena. I don't think people quite understand what he did. He came in at a time of wrestling at its lowest point. Right? Attitude Era is over. Ruthless Aggression started. That was different, and he literally carried the entire company for 20 plus years. And let's not even, we're just talking wrestling here. That's not talking about what he does outside of wrestling. What he does for Make-A-Wish.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody on earth is even close, right?
Yeah.
What he does for other groups out there, dude he is the GOAT of GOATs. People will try to argue that with the Ric Flairs and everything. I will solidify John Cena deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely.
100%.
Stand-up guy. Absolutely great. Love it.
All right, guys. We could do an entire episode doing a tribute to Cena. We have one last story for tonight on the Last Time Is Now tournament, and we're debuting a new segment called Destroying Kayfabe. For those of you that do not know, this man over here had a show called Destroying Kayfabe. So tonight, he will have his own segment called Destroying Kayfabe. This story comes from Fightful, and it's about Brooks Jensen. That I don't know about the rest of you, but I didn't learn until the other night when I shared this story to our group that Brooks Jensen is actually Bull Buchanan's son. Did you guys know that before I get into this?
No, I did not. And I remember you sharing that story the other night, and I was like, wait, what? I mean, Bull Buchanan, if I recall, he was with John Cena during the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah.
Not only that, right to censor.
And we're gonna get right into that. That's actually in the story. Brooks Jensen says it's been 22 years since John Cena screwed my father's career over. Maybe my time is now. So before I read the article, we've talked about some WWE names that could join. We've talked about some TNA names. We've talked about a couple of AEW names that, I'm sorry, there's no chance in hell. But now we're talking about an NXT name who has thrown his name into the hat. Brooks Jensen responds to the Last Time Is Now tournament to decide the final opponent for John Cena. At WWE Saturday Night's main event, 16-man tournament was announced to determine John Cena's final match. The winner of the tournament will face Cena December 13th. After the tournament announcement, Brooks Jensen, the son of Bull Buchanan, sent out the following post. It's been 22 years since John Cena screwed my father's career over. Maybe my time is now. Cena and Buchanan, who was known as B2, were aligned in mid-2002. Cena replaced B2 with Red Dog, Rodney Mack, in January of 2003. So, Stylez, what are your thoughts on having a revenge for his real-life father story come into play for him to be in the, you're right, B squared, having him be in the tournament?
I mean, with the shortest time as we got right now, if you're going to put him in that role where he wants to get revenge for his father because John Cena basically killed his WWE career. I mean, we saw Bull Buchanan come back. How many years ago was that? He came out with John Cena. It was a Raw show, and he tells John that he ruined his life. It was like the Life of John Cena segment or whatever it was. And Bull Buchanan's like, you ruined my life. He hates him throws the mic or whatever at him. You can find that clip on YouTube on WWE's website more than likely. But for for Brooks Jensen to come out and get this opportunity, you better win if you want to get that revenge. Because if you don't, then the revenge plot will be for nothing.
Baron, thoughts?
I got nothing on Bull Buchanan or Brooks Jensen. I got a better shot of getting something from AEW than that guy. Sorry.
All right, guys, that is going to cover our coverage for the Last Time Is Now tournament for tonight. We will talk more about it next week, because by next week we will have the next 8 names in the tournament, and so we'll have a better idea.
I wish they would have gave us a bracket, like a March Madness style bracket of that, and how fun would that have been for the fans? And maybe just keep off a couple names off of there that you were wanting to introduce or come from another company or whatever. But I think that would be totally fun to have something like that. And we could have predicted who would have won each match. But of course,
Right.
WWE is not going to do it that way.
Yeah, I think they want to do surprise announcements from one show to the next. So we got our 4 last night. We'll get 4 more Friday. We'll get the next 4 on Monday, and then the final 4 the following Friday. And that's how they chose to do it. That's fine. But we'll talk about the next 4 names next week, and then the final 4 the week after that. Up next, I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. This next story comes from Fightful. Maven feels that current WWE event ticket prices are pricing out loyal fans. We've discussed this before, but this is where it becomes a little different. He says that Vince McMahon knew where his bread was buttered. Maven feels like the current WWE event ticket prices are currently pricing, and he thinks it's something that Vince would not have done. As of late, WWE has faced much criticism for their raising ticket prices for wrestling events, from premium live events, major shows like WrestleMania, and weekly television tapings. While speaking to TMZ's Inside the Ring podcast, Maven was asked for his thoughts about the current prices for WWE tickets, noting that he feels like they're pricing out loyal fans. He says, I feel like they're pricing out loyal fans. A lot of people believe that as well. It's one of the things that angers me the most. I wish you can say what you want about Vince McMahon. Vince knew the everyday family was where his bread was buttered. He knew that in order to create generational fans, he was going to have to make his product accessible on a weekly basis, accessible on a monthly basis at an affordable rate. I remember the day when, guys would be scrounging together. You bring 6 to 8 people together. Here, I got $12, and you can buy the pay-per-view. It's not like that anymore. I remember also going to my first show when I was, I think, 7 years old. I asked my dad how much that cost. He told me it was about $300 for everything. The tickets, the parking, the food, everything. $300 for everybody. That was his whole investment, Matt. That right now, you're not even getting one good ticket for that. They're pricing out loyal fans, but wrestling isn't the only one doing it. Football's doing it. Baseball's doing it. I used to work for the Brooklyn Nets, and they encouraged us to sell to corporations. Don't call families because they're not the one. They're like, our courtside tickets, run 150,000 people. Regular people don't have that kind of money as far as disposable income. Corporations do, and it's sad. It's sad that we live in that society, but I'm a firm believer that the answer to every question is money. Elsewhere in the same interview, Maven spoke about how he believes that Braun Breaker should be John Cena's final opponent. You can read more about that at another link. We've talked about this multiple times. They're pricing out people like us. And I agree. I hate that I have found a point to defend Vince McMahon on, but Maven's right. Vince knew who was making him the money, and he kept the prices where they could go. Stylez?
Absolutely. Before the pandemic hit, before inflation hit, prices were pretty rock bottom. I mean, you could, like you said, $300 get a whole family into one show, but now you're going to be paying $300 per person in that family. So now you're doubling up on dividends, and now it's come to a point of where you're going from a family base price to a Fortune 500. And now you got to ask the question, how much do I have to save per month to be able to go to a WWE event? Because TKO takes over, and that's another big problem. TKO, don't get me wrong, I mean, they know how to make money, but now they're tripling down on prices to where you alienate the original fan base. The original fan base is now going to watch from the comfort of their own home on Netflix. And you might even lose that because a lot of people don't either have good quality internet or just don't want to afford the service on Netflix. And that's going to hurt a whole lot. And that's going to be... I miss when things like this were on cable TV because you had full access. You didn't have to worry about an internet connection to watch your favorite shows. So that's going to be another battle, another subject for another time. But TKO, when they purchased the company, if people remember, there's a depth that goes behind that. So guess what they got to do? They got to up the prices even more. Now, you talk to some of the fans that go there, the Brock Lesnar shirt guy, green shirt guy. You know, some of these guys have millions of dollars or just a shit ton. And then you got guys like, you know, the Brock Lesnar guy, you know, the Brock Lesnar fan. He actually talked about how he used to have almost ringside seats for almost every show. And now he's getting close to sitting up beyond general section. And he's like, where did things go wrong? And, you know, you got corporations, you got a terrible economy, and then you just got pure greed right behind it. So it just, as a fan, there's a whole lot of speculation of how we can talk about this, how we can handle it. In the end, it's to the point of where we can no longer afford to be a WWE fan to go to a WWE show. Luckily, we have alternatives like Impact Wrestling and even AEW.
Boo.
Baron, let me ask you this, since you're next anyway. What would you do? Would you spend a ton of money to a WWE show, or would you buy a ticket to watch an AEW event?
Well, Styles, I'm a hypocrite here. We talk about the pricing of wrestling quite frequently. I think we all know where we stand in today's society on prices in general, right? I don't even think we need to get into a deeper discussion about it. Everything's expensive now. And it sucks for the entertainment value of things we enjoy. Concerts, movies, to wrestling, you know, they're all so fucking expensive anymore. I mean, you know, I'm lucky to be in a place where I can afford to kind of go to shows, but even so, I'm not. Like I went to Backlash. Me and the girls spent over, dude, I don't even remember at the point. I'd just say $1,500 to make it reasonable for two of us. But you guys are both correct here. I mean, like they have changed the trajectory of like their fan base. You know, then cater to the family, and you always in a business you have to cater to your clientele, or you're going to lose your clientele. I'm in business. I'm in, you know, I'm a buyer. I know I have to forecast what my people are buying, spending money in my company, and cater to them, right? That's what you have to do, and that's what I think TKO is not understanding because they come from this UFC world where just, you know, people are willing to spend that because that's a different group of individuals that are going through that, and I think that's what is lost now. And I will tell you, it is going to cripple the fuck. You lose a big name like John Cena. Who's the next person on that list that can even get the John Cena name? John Cena sells tickets with his name being on the card. Who is next in line that could do that to that magnitude as John Cena? Nobody. Absolutely nobody on that roster.
Not yet.
No, not yet, and I don't think they ever will. And that's the scary part. And I think we just seen it a couple weeks ago. We seen the attendance rate Monday night, not this previous Monday night. It was the Monday night before. I mean, like it was record low, right? You know, so it is scary, man. If they don't adapt to who's watching, which is a family, which families are not able to do what they could years ago when coming to wrestling, you're going to lose your fucking wrestling fan base. And this switch to all these networks is another thing. It's not just internet. The vast majority of humans have to have internet. If not, I don't even know what fucking planet they're living on. It's the streaming devices that's the problem now. I mean, we're over here spending additional $30 to watch Monday Night Football. You're spending $15 a month or however much it is now for Netflix to watch Monday Night Raw. You know, like those are the things that it just doesn't make sense. And if they don't adapt and get it together, they're going to lose a lot of fans with this.
I mean, the whole purpose of digital streaming was to compete against cable. But when you create too many platforms, you're no longer competing against them anymore. You're over toppling them because you're paying more than what you were paying for cable. So it's just like it's now a step backwards once again. And now, like you said, you got to get the shit together, because if not, like you said, the fans, they're going to disappear. And every week, it's just like the Nielsen ratings for the Monday Night Wars. You're going to see where the ratings lie at, and more likely where the buyers are at. And if you see numbers drop per month, then you're going to have even bigger problems.
Yeah, and you know, real quick, Triple H made the comment that ticket sales are Max, you can probably find the article very fast. The ticket sales are booming, is what he's saying. I find Triple H to be a fucking crock of shit anymore. I think he's a load of shit. I think he has got to politicalized backstage, and I don't believe shit he says anymore. I think he's full of shit. But he just made a comment about ticket sales.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Yeah, okay. For live events. And I'm like, you know, I seen it on Twitter feeds. People are just bashing him like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anybody with common sense can realize there's no way ticket sales are booming unless they're passing out tickets.
So I mean, unless you tarp off areas and consider that
right.
So, and here's what Baron's talking about. The article that I found on Ringside News says Triple H flexes WWE ticket sales amid overpricing controversy backlash. WWE fans pay a lot of money to get good seats to shows. That being said, fans have noticed a huge uptick in pricing since TKO took over the situation. This is a controversial situation, to say the least. For Triple H, he's very happy about how ticket sales are going. During the All In podcast, Triple H spoke about the rise of live events and the decline of traditional broadcast media. He explained how WWE is growing digitally while also staying focused on live shows. Triple H said everything points back to the live experience. He also spoke about WWE's presence on digital platforms, but he made it clear that the main strength comes from what happens in front of a crowd. To go back to the live event experience, our live event, our ticketing, our live event experience numbers are off the chart, and that's global. Triple H gave an example of WWE's recent success in France. After all, they broke a big record in Paris, rivaling Taylor Swift's Eras tour in the process. We were just in Paris. We did the stadium in Paris. We did Lyon, France on a Friday night, a PLE on a Sunday night in a stadium in Paris, France, where we had 30,000+ there. And then we did Monday Night Raw from Paris in that same stadium with a little over 20,000 there for TV the next night. Triple H also said that kind of travel and schedule is normal for WWE. After all, there is no off-season in pro wrestling, and there likely never will be. Unless you're Lucha Underground, you took off-seasons all the time. Came straight back to the U.S., so it's every single week, that amount of live content. Triple H made it clear that live shows are the foundation of WWE's success. Those tickets are going up in price, but so is every other live event ticket in the industry. WWE has made a point for years to make it clear they are in competition with every other form of entertainment, even sleep. WWE will keep doing things their own way because it's working out well for them. Triple H also made a backhanded remark about how WWE books with the storyline in mind and not simply to fill up a card full of good matches, much like AEW does. Only time will tell what is in the future, but Triple H will likely be there at the helm of WWE. We will have to see how many records they break in the process, especially when it comes to ticket sales and blockbuster gates.
Did this son of a bitch really bring up Taylor Swift?
No, the article did, not Triple H.
Whoever wrote that article is a load of shit, because that tour was, and I don't care, but that tour was groundbreaking, record-breaking. WWE is not even on the same fucking stratosphere. Please don't mention that. That's just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Now that
And-
you say that, WrestleMania is in Vegas next year, right?
No, Vegas
Yeah.
this year, and
This year, yeah.
2026. So yeah, next year,
Yeah.
and then Saudi Arabia the following year.
Yeah.
All right, so night one of WrestleMania, we're getting the concert. Taylor Swift's coming to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Just
we'll see
because of
about
that article.
Yeah,
And that's where I turn off.
you know.
Well,
one
if
last-
you want to boost up your fucking ticket sales, you might want to do that.
But the
and-
problem is you put her in there to do a performance, and guess what? Them tickets are going to go up in price too.
Well, yeah, that's true. It goes from 1,000 to like fucking 5,000 a pop.
And it's like, hey, how do you want to flatline the company today? Oh, here, let's
Yeah.
get Taylor Swift on there.
Well, it's just, like,
I'll do that only if Jeff Jarrett comes out and bashes her in the head with a guitar. Oh wait, we can't do that because male and female violence. Never mind.
well, Jeff Jarrett and Taylor Swift are actually, I don't know if anybody knows this, but there is a wrestling connection towards Taylor Swift and Jeff Jarrett. She used to babysit his kids, and they live next door to each other.
Oh, wasn't
Look
it
that up.
Tennessee or something like that?
Yeah, he's a big Swiftie. And to go back to what we were talking about, though, it is going to become a problem with wrestling, and I don't like that. We already get fed enough bullshit throughout our daily life that, I hate that it's coming to WWE that's giving us this false bullshit of like ticket sales are booming and all this other shit. Because they're just trying to justify keeping that price where it's at.
right.
Instead of trying to cater to their fan base, which it's just not okay in my mind.
At one time you paid for cable, which in the time period I'm talking about was $100 or less each month. It was probably $50 at that time. And then if you wanted to watch a pay-per-view,
You had to order that on there for your provider.
right, for a while there it was like 4 pay-per-views a year. Then they went to all the in your houses and did monthly what are now PLEs, monthly pay-per-views, and that typically ran you another $50 for each month. So you're looking at $100 to watch wrestling from home every month. And if you went to a show, maybe you're out another $100 to get yourself someone else in, pay for parking, food, and merchandise. Now, cable's what, $150, $200 every month. If you don't have cable, you got to find another way to watch things like NXT and SmackDown. Raw is on Netflix. You got to pay for that. The NXT PLEs and Saturday Night Main Events are over on Peacock, so you got to pay for that. And you got to pay for the new ESPN Plus app at $30 a month to get the rest of the PLEs. And that's not even factoring in if you enjoy watching things like AEW or TNA or New Japan or any of those other companies, because right now all we're talking about is the cost of being a WWE fan. And if you want to watch everything else, that's astronomically more right there. To add all that in, I'm sorry. They're in competition with sleep. Well, if you keep raising your prices on everything, I'm not going to be able to afford it myself, and I'm going to choose sleep over your product. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. All right, let's move on to another story. This comes from Ringside News. A new trademark filing signals fresh WWE talent on the horizon. WWE has filed a brand new trademark that may signal the arrival of a fresh superstar, and speculation is heating up about who it's for. On November 3rd, 2025, WWE officially filed to trademark the name Skylar Ray. While the identity behind the name has not been confirmed, there's growing talk that it could be tied to Danny Sikelski, the recent Season 2 winner of WWE LFG. Sikelski scored a huge win in the October 28th season finale of WWE LFG, submitting Panina Tuilepa with The Undertaker's Hell's Gate submission. The win secured Sikelski a contract with WWE NXT, hand-selected by Shawn Michaels himself. Though she previously appeared on NXT TV back in April 2025, she has yet to make her in-ring debut. The timing of the Skylar Ray trademark has led many to believe this is the ring name Sikelski will use moving forward in WWE. Like other WWE filings, the legal language is broad but specific to wrestling. entertainment services, namely wrestling exhibitions and performances by a professional wrestler and entertainer rendered live and through broadcast media, including television and radio, and via the internet or commercial online service, providing wrestling news and information via a global computer network. WWE has made several similar moves this year, including filing the name PJ Vasa for WWE LFG standout P Nasty. This structured rollout suggests Skylar Ray may be heading to NXT or even involved sooner than later. If this is indeed Danny Sikelski's new identity, she's about to enter the next chapter of her career fully rebranded, with WWE backing her as one of the company's top developmental prospects. Now, I have not watched a season of LFG yet, but what do you guys know her? Have you seen her work?
So too long didn't read. No. LFG was nothing more than another version of Tough Enough. That I do know. You had Taker, Booker T, I think it was Bubba Ray and Mickey James on the panel. It was just a Tough Enough competition, except they started throwing all this stuff into more like mixing with the NXT shows. So you remove the NXT and you just put a bunch of future developmental stars into the mix. They learn how to cut promos. They learn how to work a match. You might as well just call it Tough Enough. But LFG, we all know what the actual term of LFG is these days. But they gave it a completely different acronym to meet WWE needs. Because for me, when I hear LFG, it's let's effing go. So that's exactly how.
As a D&D player and a WoW player, when I think of LFG, I think looking for group.
Well, for me, LFG for me is looking for girls because, you know.
And failing. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm great at that. So you're not wrong right there.
Baron, do you know anything about her?
I didn't watch much of the LFG season 2. I watched more of the season 1. I think it's a great premise. I don't know much about her. Mir in the chat said she's wrestling Fallen Henley next week in the speed tournament. So that's kind of where we're putting her. So are we putting a lot of stock into her or what? So no, I have not. I have not kept up with the LFG, and I don't really think I plan on to. I think
another dead WWE project.
It's not a good premise, but it's just not like you don't get much from a 30-minute show of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I hope nothing but the best for her.
I'm looking to see. They have actually the story that I read is out of date. Mir's right. She is facing off against Fallon Henley, and they have officially rebranded her. She is now Skylar Ray. So,
I was thinking somebody else's name is Skylar Ray in wrestling, and I just can't. When you said it, I'm like, who is Skylar Ray?
When I hear that name, I think of Summer Rae for some reason.
Well, yeah, but then you got like Skylar Blue or whatever. I mean, there's many names. I think I was just confused.
In the wrestling world now.
But hey, you know what? Hopefully, she has a great run. I'm glad they changed her name though, because that's a little bit more easier to say instead of Danny whatever Solaski or whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, that's a good name change. Put some stock into her. Good.
I know what you're thinking of. There was a girl named Kylie Ray who has worked in AEW, TNA, and NWA and WWE. She has retired from wrestling.
Wasn't this her?
What?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she does that. So, all right. Speaking of names in pro wrestling, from Ringside News, WWE quietly changes Zelina Vega's name. WWE has quietly dropped the Vega from Zelina Vega's name, and Ringside News, we'll skip that part of that. The WWE.com roster page now lists her as simply Zelina, with no mention of her last name in the header. Her updated bio still celebrates her career accomplishments from winning the inaugural Queen's Crown tournament to capturing tag team gold with Carmella, but the Vega branding is gone without explanation. This kind of name alteration has become standard operating procedure in WWE, with numerous stars getting single name treatment over the years. And while it hasn't been addressed on television yet, the move seems official based on the company's own website. Zelina has remained a strong presence on SmackDown since her return to the Blue brand. Most recently, she defeated Chelsea Green on the April 25th, 2025 episode to win the WWE Women's United States Championship, her first singles title in WWE. Whether or not the name tweak signals bigger change in direction remains to be seen. What's your take on WWE dropping Vega from her name, Stylez?
All right, so I'll make this pretty simple. So if I recall, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are in an upcoming movie, if y'all know.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter.
Yep.
So, if you played Street Fighter 2 in the arcades or even on the consoles, there was one mini boss character that you had to get to before you fought M. Bison, and I'm going to go off that speculation, and that was Vega.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way they're going to do this is by saying we're removing it because of the Street Fighter trademark. If it's a trademark or a copyright issue, dropping Zelina's last name. Give her a last name that she can work with. That would be a warrior-based name. And it would work great for her character.
Well, I mean, if they do give her a last name, what are the odds that they just give her Black as her last name since she's working with her husband, Baron?
It could be, or we could just keep it as Zelina. I think that flows off the tongue a little bit better, and that's I think that's better in my personal opinion. I mean, she used to go by Queen Zelina when she won Queen of the Ring, right? So, like, I think it makes sense. I'm all for it, and that's a good point. I didn't even think of Street Fighter on that.
I didn't either.
At all. So, no, that's a great point, and that could totally be why. Also, it's just maybe that mysterious night courting thing that they're trying to do, but that makes a lot of sense what Stylez said.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got to switch companies real quick, and Baron, I love you, but we got to talk about a couple things out of that other company. Our next story comes from Ringside News.
Let me grab another drink if we're gonna do it like this. No.
All right. Tony Khan reportedly freezes out wrestlers he thinks are WWE bound. If you're planning a jump to WWE, don't expect much airtime in AEW, at least not while Tony Khan's calling the shots. During a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer dropped some telling insight about why certain wrestlers might be kept off AEW programming. The conversation came up while discussing why David Finlay, the leader of the War Dogs faction, hasn't shown up on AEW television despite his stablemates making appearances. Meltzer didn't confirm anything directly, but he didn't hold back when floating the real reason Finlay might be MIA. Maybe there's the feeling that David is going to end up in WWE and Tony doesn't want to use him, Meltzer speculated. He then pulled the curtain back even further on how Khan handles booking decisions involving wrestlers with one foot already out the door. Tony Khan doesn't want to use people who are going to go to WWE, even though it's inevitable that a lot of the guys he's using will end up in WWE just because of how wrestling works. But if you're pretty sure they're going to go, then why use them? That philosophy may sound cutthroat, but it's far from rare in wrestling. Still, Alvarez challenged the logic, suggesting Tony could just book them to lose on their way out, like wrestling promoters have done for decades. Meltzer responded by pointing out that strategy only works if the wrestler is actually your talent. Yeah, but not for a guy who's not even in your territory. If you figure they're WWE bound, it's like, yeah, why use them? There's no upside at that point. This kind of approach could explain the silence around more than just David Finlay. For example, Britt Baker. If Tony Khan believes a wrestler is headed to WWE, even without an official deal, that might be enough to send them straight to AEW's bench. If it's a move that protects Khan's investment in long-term stars, but it also opens the door to criticism about limiting opportunities for wrestlers based on pure speculation. And, here's the thing. I mean, again, I would like to repeat, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that works out for them. But I mean, we have a long storied tradition of Moxley is a damn good example. When he left WWE, they had him lose on the way out, especially because they did know where he was going.
Yeah.
So, does it make sense to bench people if they're going to a rival company, Styles?
I mean, to bench them? No, I wouldn't bench them. I mean, if they're going to be on their way out, like you said, you use Moxley as a great example. AJ Styles is another prime example when he was on his final days in TNA. Of course, the way they jobbed him out was completely unnecessary, but he went out like a warrior, losing the TNA World Title. But on top of that, freezing their time is basically like, how would we say it? You're holding their contract hostage. They know they're going to be WWE bound, but AEW is no better right now. Think about what just recently happened between WWE and AEW. Who jumped ship from one brand to the next, and they weren't even supposed to be on TV yet. So calling the kettle black with Tony Khan doing what he's doing right there, that's like early stage Vince McMahon before the Monday Night Wars or during the Monday Night Wars. If these guys, their contracts are running out, I mean, use their time accordingly. Keep them on the card, book them right, and on their final match, give them the job of a century to where the fans are going to remember who they are and thank them for their time in that promotion. Don't ever hold your guys hostage in your own company, because that right there is just bad business. And as the president of the company, I'm sorry, you're just sending a bad message right there. I mean, you're just saying, hey, WWE is a threat, even though you're not sweating it. So that booger sugar needs to wear off sooner or later.
I think this is one other thing that I can say I thought Vince did really well. Even if he knew that they were heading for the other company, if they were talented and they had fan support, he still booked them. Why? Yeah. Because he's out there trying to put on a quality show. I'm not saying that Tony's not, but Vince is also looking at it as AEW is not competition. WCW, they're not competition.
No.
And he said on the Stone Cold podcast years ago that everybody is our competition, whether it be Monday Night Football or the CBS Monday Night Comedies. Everybody is our competition. And to an extent, that's absolutely correct. I don't care what the programming is on TV. You're competing against it, no matter what style of show you're putting on versus what style of show they're putting on. Hell, our podcast is competition to wrestling, because if we scheduled it during wrestling, people might be going, do I tune into Ramblers or do I watch wrestling? Inevitably, they're going to choose wrestling, but that's completely beside the point.
Yeah.
Right, Baron?
I mean, I just got to highlight the best word that was said this entire night, and that's booger sugar.
Listen,
that was great. I'm going to use booger sugar quite frequently now, so thank you.
I say this a lot on this show, but Tony, please, for the love of all that is holy, reach out to us. We'll help you fix things.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be out of the ordinary, right? He's been holding wrestlers hostage for quite some time now. Have we seen Britt Baker lately?
Yeah.
I mean,
but according to Tony Khan, I'm holding them in reserve until the time is right.
Well, when is the time right? I mean, you signed so many ex-WWE wrestlers, and you know what? WWE is doing the same mistake here. You're getting to a point where you're oversaturated with stars that you're pulling from AEW or TNA or whichever promotion you're pulling them from, to where you're not highlighting them enough. I cannot say this enough on this show. Is what are you fucking doing with Penta?
Yeah.
That is one of the most mysterious fucking things I've seen in the past year. That doesn't make sense. The man's got it all. The aura spews. What are we doing? But you can't do anything, right? You have too many things going on already to where you're just not booking stars properly. So in the defense, and it's not defending AEW, but we also have to make sure we highlight WWE is doing the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I said this a few weeks ago. You say you're holding them back till the time is right. And this leads right into our next story. I think when you had all these wrestlers come up injured, the time was right. Bring the people back. Get your injured people out of there so they can heal, so that we don't face a situation like this next story. Also from Ringside News, Will Ospreay not returning to AEW in January after all. AEW fans hoping to see Will Ospreay make his in-ring return in January 2026 might need to pump the brakes. Despite a recent optimistic update from his rehab team, a new report has revealed the comeback isn't happening anytime soon. Dave Meltzer addressed the speculation in the Figure 4 daily update, shutting down rumors that Ospreay would be ready to wrestle in early 2026. According to Meltzer, fans misinterpreted a recovery post made by Ospreay's therapist. Regarding Will Ospreay, some people brought up to me from a social media post thinking he would be back in January. That is not the case. He is hopeful of being able to start lightweight workouts in January. He is a long way from returning. The posted question came from Saminder Singh of the Body Alignment Clinic in Raynham, Essex, who shared a November 1st, 2025 update saying Ospreay was progressing well at 6 weeks post-op and hinted at a possible January comeback. AEW All-Star at Will Ospreay, 6 weeks post-op and doing great. Still some way to go, but we're on the right road, January 2026. That sparked widespread belief that Ospreay was targeting a January return to the ring, but Meltzer made it clear January only marks the potential start of gym work, not a full-scale in-ring return. Ospreay has been out of action since August after a brutal lights-out steel cage match at AEW New Japan Forbidden Door ended with a violent beatdown from the Death Riders. He was stretchered out of the arena after having a chair stomped around his neck. In September, Ospreay confirmed he had undergone successful neck surgery and reassured fans that he was determined to recover. The road will be long, but it'll be worth it to see you all again. Surgery was a success. The former AEW International Champion has hinted he may scale back his high-flying offense once he returns, potentially making a shift in his style as he adapts for longevity. While January won't mark his official in-ring comeback, the update still gives fans a window into his recovery pace and a reminder that he's committed to heading the right way. Will Ospreay's return might not be as close as fans had hoped, but the fact that he's focused on long-term health signals that when he does return, it'll be on his terms and better than ever. And Baron, look, I know you're not big on talking about AEW, but look, this isn't about AEW anymore. This is about how we treat injuries in the wrestling business. And it's not just promoters, it's the people that get injured too. You don't want to lose time in the ring, so you keep pushing yourself. The company doesn't want to lose you in the ring because the fans like you, but at the end of the day, you're just making it worse. You know, don't you need to be taking that time off now so that you don't further injure yourself?
Well, common sense would say so, and especially when it's a neck injury. Herniated disc, like, isn't that what this injury was?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, that's serious shit, man. Neck leads to your brain type of situation, right? Like, it's any neck injury you should take very serious and take as much time as you possibly can. But you know how wrestling is. They like to push these wrestlers to get back on TV. I mean, and the wrestlers know they have a very short life in wrestling for the most part. Well, yeah, and you know when you're doing, and here's another thing. I don't mind talking about AEW, and I love pointing out the faults. But when you're having matches week to week like you are, you're injury prone for this type of business, right? Like Darby Allin's being thrown all over the fucking place. I'm not sure how that man's surviving. They're putting on some very serious matches week to week, every single week. That doesn't make sense. And I think that's where WWE outshines them, because a lot of these wrestlers can do the same shit AEW does, but I think they're smarter individuals on the back side of wrestling and WWE, telling them not to use a lot of certain moves to help protect them, so you have a longer longevity, right? And I think AEW is just so shock value that it kind of ruins some of these guys' careers. Like, neck injury is very serious, so like to be able to bounce back for something like that is huge, especially Will Ospreay with all the moves he does. You know, and it's just, you know, discouraging, you know, rushing anybody back into the ring.
Right.
Well, I'm glad
And Stylez, it's not just AEW, right? I mean,
no, I mean it's every promotion. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's TNA, if it's WWE, if it's AEW, ROH, well, which is AEW, let alone the Indies, man. I mean, a neck injury is a neck injury, but when you think of neck injuries, there used to be 3 people, but we only need 2 at this point, and one is Edge, and the other is Eddie, you know, or not Eddie, but Kurt Angle. You know, those are the prime examples you need to learn of a neck injury that can be, you know, life changing. Now, when it came to Kurt, he broke his neck in, what was it, the '96 Olympics in Atlanta. So, him going into the, you know, the wrestling world after Atlanta, you know, after the Olympics to get into it, you know, his neck was fine at first. As you get older, that neck pain, the mobility, it kind of regresses after a while. I mean, look at Edge when he did his retirement match when he faced Alberto Del Rio. He took one bad bump with the spear, and next thing you know, what happened to his neck? He said he felt his arms go numb and it gave out. You know, right here is the start of your paralyzation, because as soon as something goes wrong here, the rest of your bottom, that's it. It shuts off, and you'll be lucky. Look at Dross. You know, rest in peace, Dross. I mean, he took that lowdown, and the nerves in his neck traveled all the way down to his back and his legs and his arms, and it completely shut him down. It vegetated him, you know. And when we talk about neck injuries, you know, you get the procedure done and you take more than just 3 to 4 months. That right there is 6 to 12 months full recovery. I've had quite a few surgeries in my time. I just had one done back in August on my hand, and I got this one in January, so I'm going to be partially disabled. And this is a 3 to 6 month heal, but for a full strength recovery, it is up to a year because of nerves, muscles, tendons, whatever. You know, when these things have to be taken care of, get them done immediately. Don't try to work a few more matches to aggravate it even more, because it all it takes is one bad bump and your career is already done.
yeah, and there's extremes on this. I mean, we mostly see the I'm going to keep working extreme, but I don't know if you guys remember Alberto Del Rio versus Sin Cara. Sin Cara was trying to end the match over an injured finger.
Yeah.
When he could have finished that match properly and still been fine. But I've been doing this long enough, guys. I'll tell you, I've seen some stuff. We had a guy out at one time when I was working one of the companies here who was in the movie The Wrestler. I'm not going to name his name because I'm not trying to publicly shame him for what happened. But he had a leg injury. He hurt himself at a show prior to coming to work for us, and he and I were backstage talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I think he had a broken leg or something, like lower leg had a bone break." And I was like, "Shouldn't you be taking some time off for that to heal?" He's like, "Man, I got to feed my family. I can't afford to take the time off. I got to keep working so I can pay my bills, feed my family." And that's a thing right there too. People want to, you know, they're going to push their luck, because the problem is you push your luck too much and you're going to be out. You're not going to be able to do it. You're going to not be able to feed your family. And then we had a guy who I worked with at a couple of companies out here. He's a great guy. He was doing a show for, ironically, the same company where I met the first guy. And he and his opponent went to do a Canadian destroyer, and their angle was slightly off. And this guy got paralyzed in that match, and he's not been the same since. And that one's an instant injury. The other one is an example of people pushing their luck. And either way, we just have to look. You have to listen to your body, and when something happens, you need to do what is necessary to heal it. I understand you need to make money, or I understand you don't want to leave the fans, but at some point we have to say, hey, my body says I got to take this time off to fix this. Mm-hmm. So, all right, guys, let's move on to our last story of the night. This one's kind of sad for me. And
yeah,
I know that in WWE, I wasn't as big of a fan of her At the time, part of that was the packaging and the booking, but she seemed to come into her own down in TNA. Our last story comes from Ringside News. Ash by Elegance vacates another title amid medical issues. Ash by Elegance is officially out of action once again, and this time it's not just in TNA. The former Knockouts champion has now been forced to vacate another title, confirming that her in-ring career is no longer continuing for medical reasons. During the most recent Boca Raton Championship Wrestling event, Ash appeared in a video posted to the promotion's Instagram story and made an emotional announcement to fans, revealing she had to relinquish the BRCW Women's Championship. I wonder if she made that promoter say please. Oh, no, that's a Groundbreaker thing. I have to tell you something extremely difficult, so bear with me. I have to make an announcement that I am not medically cleared to compete, so with a heavy heart, I have to forfeit this title. This update comes just weeks after she vacated the TNA Knockouts title for the same reason, being medically disqualified from in-ring competition. Tommy Dreamer, who's been closely tied to her status in TNA, offered a bit more clarity during a recent statement while urging fans not to pry further. She is no longer physically able to compete per her statement, and that's it. There's HIPAA laws involved and stuff like that. People shouldn't speculate. In addition to her formal statements, Ash by Elegance also hinted at her retirement during a recent virtual signing. While promoting some memorabilia, she revealed that a specific shirt she was selling marked the end of her wrestling career. $30 for this top. It is worn by me and Paige Van Zant in a photo shoot, but also this is the shirt I retired in. It's $30, my retirement t-shirt. After building a strong brand across multiple promotions and giving fans standout performances over the years, Ash by Elegance stepping away due to medical complications is a harsh reminder of how punishing the wrestling world can be. While her days inside the ring may be over, her legacy is still being written, and all eyes are now on what she'll choose to do next outside of competition. I want to cover something not wrestling that I read in that article. Dreamer is right to an extent about the situation. However, HIPAA laws do not prevent her from explaining what's going on. Her choice does. HIPAA laws protect her from somebody else revealing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a doctor or, say, Tommy Dreamer. If we happen to get an inside piece of information here on this show about what's going on with her health and we shared it on the show, that would be a HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
If she chooses to answer it, that is not a HIPAA violation. I just wanted to clarify that based on what Tommy Dreamer said. That being said, this is sad. She came into her own in TNA. I am sorry to see her have to go. I wish her luck in whatever she chooses to do next. But this is an unfortunate loss for someone that came into made her name down in TNA and actually made something happen. You know, Baron?
Yeah, no, that's incredibly sad. I don't care what the medical issue is, or anything along those lines, right? Because like something clearly is very seriously wrong, and she has to retire, and that's very sad. So I'm hoping nothing but the best for her, and it's nothing too serious. That she can live her life how she wants to, maybe not in the ring, but being able to live her life is very important, right? So, obviously sending positive vibes her way, and I'm hoping nothing but the best for her.
Styles?
There's a line that I once heard from the great Morgan Jones. He said, all life is precious. And in this case right here, her life is very precious. We knew her as Dana Brooke, and then to become Ash by Elegance in TNA/Impact. Seeing her repackage, redevelop herself, she found her niche, and sadly, it's being taken away from her due to unknown medical conditions that we don't know of. The day she comes forward and lets us all know is the day that we can all get some kind of closure on this. It doesn't matter if it's physical or mental or even both together. We all know that it is crumbling down mentally on her because this is a business that she loves. She enjoys it so much. Sadly, like you guys said, or like you said, Max, her WWE run wasn't exactly top notch. She was thrown in the shuffle. If I recall, she was paired with Natalia a whole lot, and that was basically like a mentorship for her. And when she was in WWE, she was pretty buff when she first started. And then after a while, she started toning down, and I don't know if it's from her making adjustments to her, her look, her lifestyle, but whatever it is, it's doing some physical damage, mental damage to her. And, all things aside, you were a great heel, you're a great face. Everyone's going to love you, or everyone loves you. Everyone's going to miss you. And, from us at Ramblers Unleashed, we wish you the very best in what you do in the future.
Yeah. And I will say this is not me speculating. I'm commenting on speculation I saw online. After she announced that she was vacating the Knockouts Championship, there were people speculating that, she's probably pregnant. Being pregnant would only temporarily disqualify her from in-ring competition. Anything beyond that is a choice on her part in 99% of cases. So pregnancy is probably not what it is. I refuse to speculate further on what it could be. I just hope that whatever it is, that her treatment works out for her. I wish her all the best. It's going to be weird not talking about Ash by Elegance anytime we talk about TNA and the Knockouts. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back here next week. Same Rambler time, same Rambler channel. Baron, yes.
Do we have any upcoming PLEs? I ask this every fucking week on Tuesday because I don't ever remember.
Survivor Series is next on the card.
Well, we like to expand our horizons with predictions and reviews. So I don't know if anything else is out there.
So, yeah, up next for WWE is November 29th Survivor Series.
I think once we get a card for that, like a full card, I think we can start jumping right into the predictions like the week prior.
Yeah. Well, we usually do like the Tuesday night before the card, even though we still have SmackDown to get through, or we'll do a Saturday show. AEW has Full Gear on November 22nd.
Baron will be all over that one. I already see the look in his face. He's excited. Look at that.
Hey, if it wasn't 6-7 hours long, I'm all for it. But their goddamn shows are 7 hours long.
Wait, 6, 7?
I'm throwing out. Yeah, what I did there. Yeah, if there's no major shows coming up, then we got plenty of time. But I always got to ask that question.
It looks like the next thing we have is Turning Point on November 14th. It is a TNA event, and it is taking place at Full Sail University.
Ooh, Full Sail. I think that would be a great show to review.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get us the card together next week, and we can do predictions on it. Because that would be...
Is that Saturday? Is that a Saturday or Sunday they do that show?
What day did I say that was?
I don't know.
14th?
NXT falls on Saturday. If they compete...
Yeah, NXT, and I feel like TNA's always fall on Sundays, right?
The
14th, you said?
The 14th is a Friday.
Friday the 14th. That's odd.
And we have Gold Rush and NXT PLE on the 18th.
PLEs on weekdays. Doesn't make sense to me.
Apparently, it's just a special show.
Oh, it's going to be special.
I'm sure it's going to be very special.
Like AEW.
So, let's see here. Let's scroll down this page. I like this page because it had almost everything. It looks like, Gold Rush is considered the next big thing for NXT. That's November 18th and the 25th, apparently. And then Deadline is the next regular PLE, and that's December 6th, a week before Saturday night's main event. So I'll get us the TNA card next week if you want. We can do predictions for that.
Definitely do that.
So, all right. How about we give out them socials, Baron?
Choom. Find me on the Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it, at Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends.
Just find me on Discord if you got complaints. X is useless now. X is too toxic for me, so just Discord me in the complaints part. As a matter of fact, I'll make a channel designed just for the complaints. So yeah, Discord.
And you can find me at Max Magius. You can find my other podcast at Our Shots Podcast. Find us at random-shots.net or wherever you find your podcasts. Follow at the Ramblers Pod. There will be posts on there still each week while Dizzy is out to let you guys know when we're going to be live. And tune in again next week.
All right. That being said,
Peace and love.
Peace.
Stylez, play my outro.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.
Damn, I'm getting old if I got to put up with you guys this late.